Okay, it's ready.
Dr. Charles Patton dedicated his life to working as a dentist in El Paso, Illinois. Patton was born in 1872 on a farm northwest of El Paso. After graduating from Eastside High School in 1890, he went on to Loyola Chicago College of Dental Surgery. Once he graduated in 1869, he went on to practicing dentistry in El Paso for over 60 years. He was the oldest alumni of the College of Dentistry in Chicago when he passed away. He worked for much of his life, retiring at age 83. Dr. Patton did not spend all his time as a dentist, though. He was very interested in cars during his free time. He frequently went to car races and brought El Paso the first automobile owned in Woodford County. It was a new one-cylinder Glide from a Peoria factory. A factory mechanic drove with Dr. Patton to Secor and then was planning on going back to Peoria by train. As Dr. Patton was driving to El Paso alone, he passed by the Secor Cemetery. Keep in mind, he was driving down the rough roads of the time. As he was going down the hill near the bridge, the motor fell out of the bottom of the car onto the road. He was able to get a farmer, and they drove the farmer's team to get the mechanic, who hadn't quite left on the train yet. The mechanic rode back with them and helped Dr. Patton get his motor back into his car. Even though owning the first automobile in Woodford County is quite an accomplishment, not everyone was happy about it. Some people were quite angered by his car because it would scare farmers' horses. They would run away as soon as they saw or heard the car. Dr. Patton was a well-rounded man. In addition to cars, he was also involved in music. He was a part of several bands, including the El Paso, Illinois 1912 Band. He also completed the arrangement of the Woodford County two-step. Charles Patton was married to Nettie Tucker, and they had one daughter named Alpha Patton Cleary. Alpha was a talented piano teacher. Steve Patton, a current Gridley resident, took piano lessons with Alpha. From what Steve remembered of Charles, he was a very funny guy that was always joking around.
But see, I would have been probably back at that time, what I'm telling you, I would have probably been someplace around 10 years old.
Okay.
And Doc was kind of a funny guy. He had a good sense of humor, And and Alpha, the reason we got to know her and all them was because she gave piano lessons, and she was a concert pianist. And my brother Tom took piano lessons from her for, 3 or 4 years, and he got so he could really play the piano. Well, this doctor, the dentist, he would always, every time you went in, and of course he was, I don't know how old he was then, but he was retired, of course, because he was her father and the mother. They lived with Alpha and Frank. And he would always come up to him and go, "What's your name?" So, and my brother or I, when we were there, we'd say, "Patton." Didn't know Patton amount to a damn. And that's what he would. And every time, of course, my brother took piano lessons once a week. And he would always ask, "What's your name?" And then he would tell you. And he was a real nice fellow, but he had, good humor and everything.
All right. Dr. Charles Patton died in 1960 at the age of 88. He will be remembered for his hard work and his active involvement in the El Paso community.